Okay, great. Right, so let's sit for a few minutes together. I appreciate your silent acceptance of my circumstances here. Of course, you're muted, but I'm going to interpret that as a silent camaraderie and acceptance of the technology that I'm navigating. So thank you. And you can rest your hands in your lap and come into the present moment. Even if it has dilemmas around the edges, intrinsically at the very center of the present moment, there is not a dilemma. As you breathe in and out, start noticing the nuance of the breath coming in, the nuance of the breath going out. And if your mind isn't able to sense the nuance, what that usually implies is that the mind is a little bit scattered or has been involved in more dense activities and might need dense sensation to get present. But if you can begin to notice the subtle, the nuance, and that captures your attention, then we consider that to be more refined and we start right there. So it may mean relaxing the physical body or the mental body to sense the subtlety, the nuance of inhale coming in and exhale going out. And this breath may be relatively subtle or simple, not a full ujjayi breath, not a big dynamic breath. Just sense what is coming in, what is going out. Each has a sensory expression. Just observe in this moment your capacity for noticing that. And if your mind is still a little bit bouncy and needs a more dynamic or dense sensation, then try bringing attention down into your lower abdomen. Make the breath a little stronger, allow the abdomen to expand. And then a little bit more tone and tone, almost like you might be approaching asana, that kind of quality to the breath. But if the subtle is captivating enough, let your mind rest there. And then please bring your hands to your heart. So every time we sit down to have awareness or attention, we actually are also getting some biofeedback, some neurofeedback about how we're doing. We're getting a reflection from the body, biofeedback, and from the brain, neurofeedback. We're getting that in the screen of our attention. So appreciating whatever you were able to witness there, and knowing that your practice can help move you in a direction of homeostasis and vitality. Let's begin with our chant together, and we'll sing Sahana Vavatu. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Punaktu Saviryam Karavavai Tejasvimnavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavai. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Punakto Saviryam Karavavai Tejasvimnavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavai. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahana Bhunakto Saviryam Karavavai Tejasvimnavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namah. Hari Om. So singing is considered more dense than simply noticing the breath coming and going. But observe now your capacity for the nuance of the breath coming and going. And then you can bow your head to your heart and release your hands. Please open your eyes. And I'm going to set up my other camera for our viewing. We just have a couple sign-ins. Spotlight video. Okay, terrific. So let's come up to standing, please. When you come up to stand, take a stance the width of your yoga mat. You can choose to face forward if you like. There's my iPad there. So the stance the width of the yoga mat. And bend the knees slightly. This is called horse stance. So you're going to interlace the fingers. Take the heels of the hands forward. And then inhale, rise up and press up as you sit down slightly. It doesn't have to be a big sit, but take the hips down just slightly as you're reaching up. Bring the breath down into your pelvis, what I called the pelvic basin yesterday in our restorative class. And as you exhale, then push down into your heels, root your tailbone and fountain upwards. Inhale, gaze up. And then exhale, gaze only forward and side bend to your left. Inhale in the side bend, connect into your right low belly. And then exhale, draw yourself up to center using your right low belly. And then side bend to your right, keeping your pelvis centered. And wait out for the next inhale so you can really feel the left side waist and your left heel. And then exhale, rise up from your left low belly. And then inhale, look up, please. And exhale, press your arms wide, come down to a wide-footed Uttanasana. Relax the weight of your head. Release the weight of your thoughts, the activities of your mind. And while you're down here, I'd like you to think a little bit about like a grandfather clock. When the clock arm is in the center of the pendulum, that's kind of pointing straight down as your torso is right now. And I'd like you to shift the pendulum, being your torso, shift to your right, hold your outer right ankle with your left hand, and add a little side bend to your forward bend. And as you have brought the torso to the right now, start pressing into your right heel and shift your hips to the left. So you're making a zigzag of your wide-footed Uttanasana. And breathe into the left side of your waist, left outer hip, maybe your left hamstring. And then shift your hips back to what you would think of as center and bring the pendulum of the grandfather clock, that is your torso, back to center. Cross your right hand over your left ankle and swoosh your grandfather clock pendulum to the left. Breathe into your right side waist. And then exhale, glide your hips to the right while keeping your torso to the left. And see what you discover in there. Right outer hip, right lower back, right outer hamstring, maybe the calf muscle. And then shift your hips back to center, please. Let the torso come back to center so the grandfather clock returns the pendulum to the center. Energize your feet and legs, and let's inhale, rise up, upward hands pose. And exhale, hands to your heart. Now take a little bit wider stance, go heel toe out. Let's consider this to be like the length of one of your legs and come down to Prasarita Padottanasana. Again, the grandfather clock kind of in the center here. And then walk your left hand and your torso over towards your right ankle. You can hold the outside of your right ankle with your left hand to allow your torso to be supported here. So maybe your head rests gently against your left upper arm. Let's breathe in. And whatever movement you have available now, you're going to shift your hips to your left, which means press firmly into your right leg. Energize your right thigh muscles and your right foot and glide your pelvis to the left. And breathing in, left side waist. And then exhale your hips back to center and allow your torso to come to center. Now take your right hand across to your left ankle and bring the grandfather clock, the pendulum, over to your left. And as you stabilize there, press down from your left hip into your left heel and widen your hips to the right. Breathing in and out through your nose. Of course, you might notice the most dynamic sensations first. And that's often how we give attention, like in a little multi-layered experience of attention. First, that which is most attention grabbing, a dynamic sensation, and slowly, slowly to that which is more subtle. Let's bring the hips back to center, please, and your torso can also return to center. And then shift your hands to your hips and please rise up to standing. Now turn your heels in and take your toes out and come down to the jazz dance warm-up pose. Okay, so my preference here is that your knees get to point in line with your toes. So your toes can go farther than your knees can go because that's the design of the human structure. So try to keep the knees and toes in the same angle. And then press firmly into your left arm, left knee. Keep your left heel steady and raise your right arm up. And then side bend to your left. And for some of you, you're going to find that you could put your left forearm on your left thigh, but keep the hips centered, please. Yeah. And then return, jazz dance warm-up pose. Now press into your right arm, right thigh, right knee, right heel, and inhale, raise your left arm. And then side bend to your right. And breathe into the left hemisphere of the torso, but you might be noticing that, okay, there's dynamic sensations there. There's also the dynamic effort of your right leg. And then you exhale to come back to your jazz dance warm-up pose. Notice how nice symmetry feels. And then root down into both heels, all 10 toes. Please rise up, straighten your legs, and let's go toes, heels, heels. Okay, great. And now please come down to the floor in preparation for downward dog pose. I'm going to turn my device so I can see it better. So yesterday in our 7 a.m. class, we were working on a variation of downward facing dog that we're going to revive right now. So for those of you who felt that strengthening here and the opening here, you get a second chance today. So place your hands, spread them wide, curl your toes under, and let's reach up and back to downward facing dog, please. Gaze back between your toes, your arches, and your heels. And start making the eyes more steady so they're not going to dart about. Come into your Ujjayi breath so you'll have an inner sense of a greater cohesion, integration, and presence. And then scoot your heels and toes out a little bit so your feet are going to be as wide apart as one of your feet in length. So not mat width and not hip width, but a little wider than hip width and not as wide as the mat. And keeping your gaze steady, tip both heels to your left so that your right heel comes towards the center of the mat. Strengthen your left arm. Bend your left knee. Keep the left arm stable. The right arm is also stable, but your left arm is the primary weight-bearing arm right now. Notice in the left arm you have this dynamic sensation of the push reflex. In the right hip and sideways you might have dynamic sensation of stretching. Then roll things back to center where it's more symmetrical and more familiar. And notice what your mind does to settle in when things are more simple, maybe more subtle. And then rotate both heels to your right. Keep the right arm strong so your shoulders don't wander off center on this one. And as you have the left heel towards the center of your mat, you can bend your right knee. Notice how you're navigating the dynamic effort of your right arm and possibly dynamic sensations on the left side waist, left outer hip. And then rotate back to center and see how your mind and your attention respond to something symmetrical and more subtle. And then please come forward, touch your knees down in table pose, and then reach backwards to child's pose. And when you go to child's pose, my recommendation here is that you really let it be a kind of full surrender. The child's pose it's a physical release for the body and the effort, but let's also imagine it as a mental surrender. Letting go of the actions you were just doing and observing just the rawness of the present moment. Good, and then please come up to standing for Surya Namaskar, your sun salutations. See when I stand up if I'm going to be in the frame. No, okay, gotta change this just like a little bit. Okay, so rise up to standing in mountain pose. And let's see if my head's in the frame. Yeah, a little bit better. Okay, palms together, please. Now this is familiar for you, Surya Namaskar. You're not beginning yoga students. And I'm going to ask you, there are dynamic things, there's dynamic efforts, but I'm going to ask you to really think about keeping your mind on the subtle for this sun salutation. So the breath doesn't have to be really robust, but I'd like it to be consistent, and try to stay with the sensations of the air at the nose, one of the most subtle places for noticing. You might even notice that the inhale temperature at the nostrils is slightly different than the exhale temperature. And it does not make either temperature bad. It simply means that there's difference. Now keeping awareness, your mental attention there at the subtlety, energize your legs and inhale, sweep your arms up overhead. And don't go so fast that you become distracted by the arms, fingers, and thumbs and such. And exhale, chair pose. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, open to your right, as with yesterday and over the weekend. Come down like the grandfather clock to Uttanasana. Inhale, open left, rise up. Exhale, open left, down left. Inhale, open right, rise right. Exhale, down through the center, Uttanasana. Inhale, glide forward through your heart. Exhale, left toes back. And inhale to rise, keeping your attention at the tip of the nose. Exhale, open the arms, but stabilize every other thing in your pose. Lift your heart, lift your gaze. Inhale, rise up, keeping everything else stable. Move your heart, your arms, your gaze. Exhale to open. Inhale to rise. Exhale to open. Inhale to rise. And exhale, descend. Inhale, step forward, left foot. Exhale, right toes back. Attention just at the bare sensations of the air in the nostrils. Inhale to rise. You can trust your body memory for these positions. So your attention does not need to think of the pinky toe, the big toe right now. Inhale, arms up, gaze forward. Exhale to open. Inhale to rise. Exhale to open. Inhale to rise. And then exhale to descend, keeping your attention really simple at the subtle sensations in the nostrils. Inhale, step backwards, downward dog pose. Exhale forward to plank pose with your hands on the blocks. Now as you gaze down between your thumbs at the floor, lift the base of your skull and keep your mind at the tip of the nose. Not because any other thing is less important, but because we want the mind to be able to stay with the subtle, even when something dynamic is happening. This particular dynamic effort is not unfamiliar to you. So let your brain stay tuned in to that which is subtle. Now we're going to inhale, transition to cat pose. So bow your head, parachute your back up towards the ceiling, lightly touch your knees down. And then exhale, come forward to cow pose. And inhale to seal pose. So slide your shoulders back. And exhale, glide forward and down to cobra pose. There are dynamic actions happening, and you can trust your body. So the mind, focus at the tip of the nose. Inhale, rise up, seal. Exhale, plank. Inhale, reach high with your hips. Downward facing dog pose. And exhale completely. Now step your awkward foot forward first, and then your second foot. And exhale for Uttanasana. Then inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. And exhale, hands to your heart. And then stand in mountain pose for a few moments, like completely at ease. You put in the effort, feel the echo, and let the mind rest at this most subtle place, the air coming in and going out of the nose. Now keeping your right foot forward, we're going to be stepping back, and I'm going to give you a profile view because it'll be easier for you to understand where we're going. So when you are at the top of your mat, and you're going to step back with your left foot. When you step back, I'd like you to step back so that your left foot is on this kind of angle, and you're lining up heel to heel. And you have 2 blocks, so I'll put mine here. Okay, so this is like the stride you might use for Warrior 2 or for Trikonasana. Okay, whoops. So bend your right knee so it comes over your right heel like this. Place your right forearm on your thigh. And inhale, sweep your left arm past your left ear. So this is a familiar pose. We call it Parsvakonasana. And you've done it many times since you've been students of yoga for some time. So I'm going to encourage you to trust your body knows the template and to close your eyes and place your attention at the tip of the nose, air coming in and air going out. Notice your ability to refine your awareness right there. And that there are parts of your body that have interoception and proprioception. There are reflexes. We have afferent and efferent nerves. And they're sending messages to and from your brain. Everything happening. Musculoskeletal, circulatory, respiratory. And your mind can be at the most subtle little sensation in the nose. And then with your exhale, root into your left low belly, and exhale, rise up to standing. Release both arms down. Now as you're facing, so long as you can hear me, nothing needs to change. But I'm going to have you turn your right foot in and then turn your left foot out. Call that do-si-do. Take the arms wide. Bend your left knee. Let's come down and sweep your right arm past your right ear. And so again, I want to encourage you to consider that all these body memories of practicing asana, you have resources in you. And you can consider closing your eyes and placing your attention on the subtle sensations. The temperature of the air coming into the nose. Temperature of the air going out of the nose. And just doing your best, moment to moment. The mind that can be with the nuance. In yoga we say, it's a more refined mind. Now connect to your right low belly. And as you exhale, push down to rise up. Now you're on the wide part of your mat, so make the feet parallel. And come down, Prasarita Padottanasana. Reach for your 2 blocks. Just place them at the ready and relax the weight of your head. And staying with the subtle sensation, we're going to explore a familiar pose in an unfamiliar way, and that's a chance for you to notice again, how does your mind navigate attention? So let's put the blocks up on the medium setting, and rather than under the shoulders, put them as wide, almost out to your feet. And then placing your weight into your right palm, inhale, twist to your left. And we've only slightly shifted your hand. Normally we started directly under your shoulder. So this is only a slight shift. Notice how your brain and your attention respond to that. And now exhale, keep your right arm strong and reach your left hand. You can go past your right hand, slide it down. Keep the right arm really steady. And place the back of your left hand around the outside of that block. And please twist to your right. Keeping the right arm strong means that you didn't bend your elbow, and therefore when you cross the left arm over, whatever straight means for your left arm right now, you twist the upper back to the right. Now press into your right arm again, and inhale, twist to your left. And let's bring this one down. So your left hand comes to the block. Notice that the hands are not under the shoulders. So shift your body weight into your left arm and inhale, twist to your right. And notice though we're not directly centered over where you normally start, how is your brain, your mind, and your attention, how are these things responding? And then let's exhale, bring your right arm down and across. And as you reach with your right arm, twist to your left. So keep the left arm strong. You can kind of brace the back of your right forearm to the outside of the block. With the left arm strong, you can have almost a sense like you're melting the right shoulder, right rib cage towards the floor. And then press into your left arm and once more twist to your right. And then releasing, place your right hand on the block. You're on the wide side of your mat right now, so please put the two blocks aside, turn to whichever side makes sense for you, and step backwards to downward dog pose on your way to child's pose. Now, as you come down to child's pose, this is again a chance for surrender. Right? Not only physical surrender, also mental surrender. Other kinds of surrender as well. Very nice. Now let's take a blanket, please, to sit on. So you can walk your hands back to your knees and take a blanket to sit on. And please come into Baddha Konasana, down navel pose. And put the soles of the feet together. And so for some people, Baddha Konasana is very comfortable. They've been doing it since they were a child. For some of us, it's not that comfortable. We don't have knees that go down to the floor. Either way, let's hold the toes. Pull up with the inner body. And press down with your knees and hips. Let the shoulders descend. And see if you can feel into the subtlety of the breath at the nose. Notice how you maintain or even encourage your concentration. Now see if you can sustain your concentration as we make this pose a little bit unfamiliar. So pick up the right Baddha Konasana and take it up and out to the right. And then bring the right foot back down. And pressing into your right outer heel, outer foot, pick up the left Baddha Konasana. Notice what happens to your attention when something comes that might be a little bit unusual for you. And then bring the left foot down and in. And come up and forward. You can walk the hands forward so long as that's a comfortable way for you to be more surrendered in the pose. For some people, the hands won't go very far, so you might feel more comfortable simply holding your feet. Relax the weight of your head and your heart. And then please rise up to sitting. Okay, and now take a seat that you can enjoy just being upright for a few moments. Kind of like the child's pose with a little reflection time. Now, whatever seat lets you reflect. Notice your capacity for that surrender of the mind that puts your attention just at the subtle, at the tip of the nose. Now, keeping a sense of that subtle and adding a sense of the playful, you can put your blanket aside. Just have it near enough if you want it for Shavasana. And I'm gonna turn sideways so you have a profile view. You can turn however you want to in your setup. So bend both knees, place your feet flat, reach your arms forward. Okay, so when we reach forward through here, we're then going to be rolling back about halfway down towards the floor. Then we'll be reaching forward again. Okay, so this is just a little warm up. So think of it like you're practicing your rowing, as if you were on the rowing team. Let's inhale to reach forward, reach past your knees. Exhale, roll back. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, roll back. Once more, inhale, reach forward. Exhale, roll back. Now this time we're going to reach forward and up. So inhale, forward and then up. Exhale, forward and down. And then back. Sorry, I should say that differently. So inhale, forward and up, arms up. Exhale, arms forward. Then we come down and back. Again, inhale to go forward and up. And exhale, arms forward, curl in, roll back. Last one. Now, staying slightly back, put your palms face up and come to bridge pose. Boat pose. Notice the subtlety at the tip of the nose. And then bend your knees, place your feet down, inhale, reach forward. And exhale, roll all the way back now to the floor. Try to keep your feet on the floor as you're rolling back. And take the arms overhead. And exhale, bring your knees up to your chest. Keeping the arms overhead, inhale, touch your toes, lightly down, knees bent. Exhale, knees to your chest. Inhale, tiptoes down. And exhale, knees to chest. And then float the arms out to the side, whatever your preference is. Take the legs out. Now, as you come down, this is Shavasana. We'll have time for meditation at the end of the practice, but as you come down, I want you to be really thoughtful that you were just using the core of the body. There was some engagement there. Can you allow for that surrender to go from the center of the belly, rippling outwards, outwards, outwards? And can you go from dynamic exertion to the deepening subtlety of surrender? Observe your body going through surrender mode after action mode. Now surrender. And allow that surrender to continue to ripple from the very center of the abdomen outwards and outwards, down your legs, up through your torso, down through your arms, up towards your head, down to the toes. As you're watching this gentle surrender occur, allow your mind to take it in. No coercion, no manipulation. You may continue watching that subtlety. Notice which parts of your body are inclined to get heavier or more relaxed first, and how it's flowing to other parts of your body. You may continue to watch the process and notice while some parts of the body become very heavy and relaxed, the energy body actually becomes incrementally lighter, more spacious. Allow the process to continue. It's rippling out some parts of your body, becoming heavier, more grounded. The subtle body getting lighter, more expansive. As you welcome that to continue, notice even the most subtle way in which deeper relaxation comes to the physical body, and a kind of spaciousness can emerge, an expansive quality for your energy body. Now with awareness of the quality of heaviness, the quality of lightness, and that in you which is observing them both. So the quality of heaviness, the quality of lightness, and that in you which is observing them both. From that place, you can gently wiggle your fingers and your toes, bend your knees, roll to your side, and rise up to your seat for meditation. And when you come up for meditation, let it be very simple, no fancy setup needed. Close your eyes if that helps you. And listen for that in you right now that feels the heaviness, the groundedness, and that which also feels the lightness, maybe the word spaciousness. Notice that in you which is observing these different qualities. What we call in yoga the seer, the witness. And gently observe your mind's capacity to allow for this witnessing, this simple seeing. And please bring your hands together at your heart. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Namaste. I hope that you're feeling grounded and just at peace.